Right Network. Mobilizing, countering the left, energizing the right. New Right Network, home of the New Right movement.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New Right Network's original series, SmythTV. Your host, Brian Smith, giving you the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, and giving you the real news every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And right after our show is the Wayne Dupree Show, an incredible show to watch as well. Don't miss the Wayne Dupree Show. You got 2 hours of back-to-back news, real updates, exposing fake news so that you know when you're out there, you can call it fake news. And one of our fellow patriots on the Twittersphere posted up, Dinesh D'Souza, becoming a very dangerous American. I'll explain what that means. Arm yourself with knowledge, folks. That's where you get it right here. And if this is the first time you've been on the show, welcome. Crush the share, crush the follow, crush the like. If you're on the YouTubes, click the bell for notifications. For those of you who don't get notifications, or you're not on YouTube, or you're not on Twitter, and believe me, folks, there's a lot of people that I talk to that listen to us audio only and are not involved in social media. No problem. We've solved all of that for you. Right in the description below, just a couple of lines down, there's a word that says Telegram. Click the word Telegram. It's a link. It'll take you to Telegram. Click it on your phone. And just set up a little bit of an account. And then let me know that you've done that. And then I can add you to the group, to the Telegram group. And all you'll receive is just the links to the show every single day. Right in the middle of the afternoon, somewhere around 3, 4 o'clock, you'll have the show note link. You'll have the link on Facebook and YouTube and audio only, so you'll never miss a single show. Again, Telegram down in the description below. And then right below that says full show notes. Folks, crush that link. Once you get over there, you'll be at newrightnetwork.com, and the full 3-page show notes is put up as an article, with the show being embedded in the article right at the top. So you can actually share that link, show notes link, with friends and family, and they can either watch the video or go through the show notes. And when you're in the show notes, you'll see different names like the @ symbol and press secretary, or @ G.I. Joe Ops. If you want to go visit them because they're great patriots, just click their name. They'll take you right over to Twitter. All the articles that we reference here, there's the links in the description below as well. So you'll never miss great tweets from individuals if you're on Twitter, or the great articles that we reference here, whether it be Breitbart News, or Gateway Pundit, or Washington Times, real articles coming out of New Right Network, folks. NewRightNetwork.com is definitely one to jump over. It's at the very top of the show notes. Click on New Right Network for great breaking news and great articles. And also at the top is SmythTV. Folks, I do this every day, Monday through Friday. I pay for this out of my own pocket. Please help support real news, exposing fake news. Jump over to SmythTV. Or just right under there in the description below, there's 3 ways to help contribute. Crush the Patreon, crush the PayPal, crush the Cash.me. If you don't know what Cash.me is, don't worry about it. One of our Patreons says that's all she uses. So just jump down in the description below. All the information is there. And again, help support new news media, exposing the fake news, giving you the real news Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. And as we go throughout the day, this is going to be a big show, folks. And for those of you who don't have ADD, I do. And I'm just letting you know today is going to be one of those days. I'll keep it concise. I'll keep it real quick. And we're going to be jumping through it because we've got a full 3 pages of show notes with tons of links and tons of information. And we're going to rip through this really quick. We're going to be talking about D-Day remembered today, June 6th, 1944. Donald Trump will be in Normandy, France today for the ceremonies. And if you caught yesterday's show, he was in the UK with their ceremonies as well. And then we've got some really great news, folks. We got new Republican candidates popping up everywhere, folks, everywhere. 10 weeks out from the primary, and I am going to showcase the candidates that you need to support. If you are in their district, or if you just feel like supporting candidates and not giving to the GOP or not giving to the RNC, I highly suggest go directly to their websites. The links are in the description below. All their websites, their handles, whether it be on Twitter or Facebook. absolutely ones to follow. These are some great patriots that we will absolutely support. Little information on the Democrats. We've got something going on with Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi individually going on. I'll make sense of it. I'll explain it to you. We're not going to make fun of Nancy Pelosi. We don't do that here. We don't make fun of people and their disabilities or handicaps or mannerisms. But I will show you and I will explain to you what I think might be going on with Nancy Pelosi and what is CNN doing to Joe Biden. You'll be shocked as well. Spygate, folks, I told you yesterday, Christopher Steele's coming to America. What does that mean? Guys, this is big. I have now changed my mind, or shifted, if you will. I originally thought it was going to be Brennan who was going to be arrested and tried first. Nope, folks. I've got the evidence here, and I'm going to show you why Comey is going to be arrested and taken down first. Comey's going to be the guy. Peter Strzok is right behind him because he's also involved in all this. And an incredible article out of the Washington Times that I'm going to give you came out today. And then we're going to wrap this all up with some news that we have to keep plugging away at this. You've got to stay informed, and don't be surprised a year from now when certain things happen. If we elect the wrong individuals, or we allow individuals to be elected that are wrong for our country, we're going to get what we get. We had 8 years of Barack Obama, the first Muslim president, and you see what happened. Set race relations back. Originally, I was saying set race relations back 50 years. I'm changing that. I think he set race relations back 75 to 100 years. There's a video somebody put up on Twitter. It looked like to be about a 6-year-old little black girl and maybe about the same age, 6-year-old little white guy. He was sitting down at a picnic table. She jumped up on top of the picnic table and with a giant swinging arm, cracked that little white kid right in the side of the face. I've got neighbors here. The little girl's neighbors come over to play with my daughters. I'd say probably around 10, 11, 12, and a couple of them are black. And my daughter stood her ground. The little black girl said, "Donald Trump racist." My daughter told her, said, "No, sorry, you're wrong. Here's why. And I can't be your friend anymore." Well, she came back and told me that. I said, no. I said, you did right. That was good, but don't say you can't be her friend anymore. Go make up with her. And by the time I got done talking to my daughter, who's 11 years old, incredibly smart, there's a knock at the door, and the little girl was there, and they made up, and they got to playing again. And while they were playing, I took my phone out, and I pulled up all the pictures of Donald Trump with all the different black leaders and all the different black people and throughout history, and I showed her these pictures. The little girl was dumbfounded. She had no idea. And then she said she was sorry. Folks, we got a lot of work to do, so let's get at it. Islam will be in Canada shortly. This is going to be very difficult to fight it in Canada from America, but we've got to have our borders up and our guards up. So elected officials, and we'll get to them and explain to you who they are. But to start this off, folks, you've got to become the most dangerous American in America. And how does that happen? You listen to the show. You plug in here Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. You jump over to SmythTV. You become a Patreon, and you educate yourself with real news, exposing the fake news. That's how you become dangerous. And I thank you at Doing Right One. At Doing Right One follows back all MAGA, CAG, and veterans. So if you're on Twitter and you need more followers, you want to follow back, this is one to follow.
Part of our liberation is not just the ability to read between the lines, to figure out when you're being conned, but also to be able to deconstruct these fake narratives. And so as you arm yourself and equip yourself with knowledge, you become what I call a very dangerous American. You'll notice that the other side is a little bit, whenever you start speaking, they get extremely nervous and agitated because they know that everything they're going to say, you already know. But what you're going to say, they have no idea. And they have no comeback, so they're completely disarmed. It's actually a kind of an exciting notion because it makes you a powerful figure in the American debate.
Nothing more powerful than the element of surprise. These liberals or these misinformed and miseducated individuals, they have no clue. Prepare yourself. Understand that they have no clue. Be delicate with them and be patient with them. but then give them the facts. Show them the real information, direct them to links. And again, plenty of show notes. Jump to the link, the show notes below. Plenty of information down there. And I was thinking about this on a side note, for those of you on Twitter and for those of you on Periscope, watching the show on Periscope, it's been growing by leaps and bounds. And I commend you. Thank you very much for sharing this on Periscope. For those of you that need the show notes and the links, this right there on Twitter, I'll have the show notes and the links posted up on Twitter for you guys, so you can just jump back to the Twitter feed and check out at Smith Television, and that's where all the links to show notes, so you don't miss out. But back to what we're talking about, we've got to give them the real information, just like I did with the 11-year-old little black girl. I just had to show her. I had to explain to her that, what you've been taught, it's not right. Donald Trump, for 69 years of his life, cannot be a racist, and then all of a sudden, year 70, he shows up and he's a racist. That don't work. So over in the UK, here's real news coming out, folks. This is real stuff. At Jamie RODR 14. Absolutely another great patriot to follow right here. Awesome. Britain Trump supporters let the snowflake protesting Trump know exactly how they feel. 100%, the protesters seem to all focus on one comment he made 14 years ago. They need to get over it. Thank you, patriots, for supporting our amazing president.
Minority, because all the snowflakes have come out. We need to stand up for democracy. 17.4 million is not the minority.
America is our strongest ally. They helped us win the war. We will be doing trade deals with them when we leave the EU.
Yeah, it may seem unusual that I'm out here as a woman, but there is a lot of women who are for Trump. We don't believe the lies because he talked about a pussy 20 years ago. Who gives a shit? We have no hope but for him. Ultimately, we have hope in God.
That's similar to what we have here with the EPA, unelected officials creating rules and laws and regulations to choke out business and cause problems and issues. And with Donald Trump being president of the United States, removing these regulations in order to get our economy jump-started and absolutely rip-roaring and flying. This is why we voted Trump. Trump's been in office 3 years, and all these politicians hating on him. All these people hating on him that have been in office for decades and decades. Why? Because he don't play their game. And again, great folks in the UK explaining to snowflakes how they're wrong and that Donald Trump has got the people's back. Not one of these globalists, as you heard him say, the globalists that have this agenda to where they want to put their foot on the people's neck. And that's truly what it is. And this at Trump 45. This is MAGA Michelle. Absolutely one to follow. And if you've got great tweets, she will tweet them out. Watch, black Trump supporter gets it. He figured it out. The left and rejects it.
We are. It's not a problem to be nationalistic. You know,
it's not a dirty word.
It's not a dirty word. I'm a nationalist.
Try to make it a dirty word. It's not. It's actually a very good word.
Brings people together.
I'm a nationalist. Yeah, I'm a patriot.
Brings us together.
Yeah, it brings us together. I just met my friend here today. You know, don't even know the guy, but look.
We've had a great
buddies,
time.
Having a good time. And that's what Donald Trump is. He's bringing everyone together. And if you notice...
but he's also very divisive. I mean,
well, who chooses? That's your choice. You don't want to follow his leadership. So you're the one that's dividing.
See, the left are actually the ones dividing everybody. They're using identity politics to divide us up.
Violence as well.
Yeah, using violence.
Because me and you are a different skin colour, we should think differently.
Because of your race, your gender, your orientation, that we should
You want to shame someone like him for not conforming?
I shouldn't actually exist, really, because I'm a black male Trump supporter. I shouldn't, because that's what the left say. The left say that if you're a particular person, you should vote a particular way, and that's what really the left, Hillary Clinton, that's how she ran, and that's why she lost miserably.
Democratic,
and that's why they're going to continue to lose, and Trump's going to win in 2020.
Democratic Party, their whole platform is on identity and identity politics, and it's poisonous, it's insidious, and we're standing up against that, saying it doesn't matter, none of that matters. What matters is.
Wow, I couldn't have said it any better. God bless you guys in the UK, and again, thank you to MAGA Michelle for tweeting that out. Folks, this is real news. Become a dangerous American. Arm yourself with information right here on SmythTV, smyth.tv. Jump over, check out the website. While you're there, you can see Donald Trump's Twitter feed live, so you never miss a tweet. And with that, she had a second tweet that came back out, so that was back-to-back. She had 1 and 2. This is her second one. Can someone please remind me exactly what Obama did for the black community? Surely he signed bills to revitalize urban communities and pass prison reform, right? Nope. That was Trump.
Treating people differently for different crimes. Some people got caught up in situations that were very bad. I give an example of Mrs. Alice Johnson, who served 21 years, and she had, I think, another 25 or so to go. So she would have been in there for close to 50 years for something that other people go in and they get slapped on the wrist, which is also wrong, by the way, which is also wrong. But I'll never forget the scene of her coming out of prison after 21 years and greeting her family, and everybody was crying. Her sons, her grandsons, everybody was crying and hugging and holding each other. It was a beautiful thing to see. It was a very tough situation. Among other changes, it rolls back some of the provisions of the Clinton crime law that disproportionately harmed the African American community. And you all saw that, and you all know that. Everybody in this room knows that. It was very
That's what the media doesn't want you to see. They don't want you to see Donald Trump talking about policies Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, all of them put in place, super predators, divisiveness in politics, identity politics. This has been their MO for decades and decades and decades. Now we have the ability with social media technology to expose these people in real time. We've showed you many clips of Joe Biden from back in the 80s with less hair and more of a bad temper and a little bit on edge, too much caffeine. Hey, Uncle Joe, they make decaf, tastes just as great. Anyway, anyway, I'm just joking. But we saw Uncle Joe talking about super predators, calling black Americans out. This is us exposing the left. They can't hide from it anymore. And while Donald Trump was over in Britain, he was asked a question on a radio show about Meghan Markle, and he said, I didn't know she was so nasty to me. Well, we got our good buddy right here, Brian Fraser, B. Fraser 747. Just like that, the American media, who did everything possible to put a cloud over POTUS with Meghan and the story, it didn't work, nor did blowing the planned protest out of proportion. The president made his country proud. Hashtag America is back. Brian is one to absolutely follow. And Brian, I am so happy and so glad that you've made a recovery and you're making a comeback and really getting on the right track. Brian, God bless. Absolutely support you, Brian. 100%. God bless. Absolutely. Donald Trump in England, his 3 days in England, extremely proud of the way our president of the United States represented us around world leaders, just the dignity and his presence, the talks that he was involved in, talking about if you guys leave Brexit, we can make a new trade deal between us and you, benefiting you and benefiting us as well. Donald Trump always on the job. And England, you need to, at least the mayor of London, you need to focus a little bit more on your city and not too much on Trump. This out of England, David Vance. England isn't England anymore. For those of you audio only, somebody is filming outside their window as Muslims with sticks just continue, at least a dozen of them, in the streets, beating people with sticks, walking around, beating women, knocking people to the ground. This is not an isolated incident. It's not isolated. None of these are isolated. When you have Islam, when you have immigrants uprooted from a specific culture and replanted into a completely different culture, you're going to have problems because you're going to have assimilation issues. It's got to assimilate. Second problem you're going to have is in the Islamic culture in the Middle East, the way you gain money and power, not through capitalism, Capitalism is absolutely frowned upon. If you are a businessman, you're at the lower bottom of the rung, not respected. You gain power, money, wealth, women through strength, through physical violence and physical force. They still live in some kind of mid-century culture to where this type of thing happens on a regular basis. Not only that, but they also condone marrying 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-old girls, little children. Not even prepubescent children is okay and condoned in their culture. And then the violence against women. If they see a woman that they want, walk up and grab that woman and take her. We do not live in a barbaric society like that. You also have issues with incest. Yep, I said it. You also have issues with incest, whether it be uncles, brothers, cousins, nephews. That kind of thing is okay in certain areas in their culture, especially in the Middle East where there's hardly any families and you've got roaming nomads, if you will. You start to send those people to Great Britain, man, that ain't going to work out. And you got problems like you got right here. And we're going to be talking a little bit later on. They're moving to Canada. We've got some footage. We've got some information coming out of Canada, and this is not good. We've got to expose this as our northern neighbor. We know we've got thousands coming from the southern border. Now we have them coming from the northern border. So now Donald Trump is traveling to France this afternoon. Actually, he's traveling to Ireland and then to France this afternoon for ceremonies. And thank you, Press Secretary Huckabee Sanders. Incredible. You know what? Donald Trump doesn't get any credit for some of the most incredible, beautiful women that he has in his administration. He don't get credit for that. Not at all, but we showcase it here. That's when they start calling him a racist, bigot, sexist, homophobe. You say, oh, whoa. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kellyanne Conway. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I'm just saying. And at Press Secretary, finally, there were the Americans. They came from the farms of a vast heartland, the streets of glowing cities, and the forges of mighty industrial towns. Before the war, many had never ventured beyond their communities. Now they had come to offer their lives half a world from home. 100% true, folks. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but my grandfather on my mother's side, orphaned as a young kid, and back then, orphanages were the churches, the local Catholic churches, and during Christmases and whatnot, parents didn't come see him. They were too busy doing something else, so he'd have Christmases with the nuns, and at a very young age, 17, went ahead, joined the Army, and that's where he was then forced into the war. Some of the bloodiest of battles that he was a part of and witnessed. One of the only stories, and this is the greatest generation ever. And I understand how the stories hadn't come out from a lot of them. My grandfather never talked about it, didn't talk about the stories. My grandfather on my dad's side, who was a merchant marine, he didn't see combat, but he never really talked about being in the merchant marines either. And then you had this greatest generation then watch over and see over the baby boomers. And I believe that they attempted to protect them and isolate them from what they had been a part of. No fault of their own, but seeing some of the atrocities of war, seeing some of the atrocities of human nature, wanting to shield their friends and their family who weren't a world away. Folks, when I was in the Air Force in my 20s, I'd never been outside America. I mean, I went to Canada, but that don't count. I'd never been outside of America. Right after basic training, I went to tech school, and after about 16 weeks, there towards the end of tech school, we all got our permanent duty assignment. And lo and behold, Aviano, Italy. I don't know Italian. I don't know no Spanish. What? Italy? Chow? What's chow? Like chow hall? Oh, man. Yeah, so I got to see a whole nother world, and it was incredible. I got to see it from a great perspective, if you will. It's not during wartime, not necessarily. It's during Operation Deny Flight, Decisive Edge. I was in a machine shop, air conditioned, working on F-16s, and so it was great. It was good. It was good. Unlike my grandfather that was sent over to the Philippines and a whole nother world away. and some of the awful conditions that they lived in and were part of. One of the only stories that he ever told, and this came out one night after having a few drinks, about being in a field where they were in battle and the firing, and a lot of his friends that were laying there dead, and the Japanese started marching towards them. As he laid there and pretended to be dead, he watched as the Japanese would come through with their bayonets and just start stabbing the soldiers on the ground just to make sure they were dead. I didn't stab every one of them, but would just randomly just stab soldiers to make sure they were dead. And one of the Japanese approached my grandfather, pretending to be dead, and removed his cigarettes and wallet from his person. And a terrified feeling and the notion that you were that close to death and didn't. And he made it back safe and sound. And I believe that wreaked havoc on him and what he had seen over there for the rest of his life. But he has since passed on, and God rest his soul in heaven. And all that pain and all that sorrow is finally over, and it's finally gone. We pray for those that have had to live with that awfulness of war. We pray for those, and a lot of the military members today that are dealing with PTSD, really struggling with a lot of these issues and a lot of these pressures. I know that there's help out there now, but back then, you can't talk about that stuff. You have to keep that bottled up inside. What an incredible thing that they had to go through and live a lifetime of this torture. So, but again, we pray for our military abroad and at home, old and young. God bless, and wish you speed for healing and recovery. And this at G.I. Joe Ops, for the love of country, they accepted death so freedom may live. Thank God such patriotic and courageous military men and women lived. Infinite salute and honor.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. But this is the year 1944. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. My fellow Americans, in this poignant hour, I ask you to join with me in prayer. Almighty God, our sons, this day have set upon a mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, and our civilization, and to set free a suffering humanity. Lead them straight and true. Give strength to their arms, stoutness to their hearts, steadfastness in their faith. They will need thy blessings. Their road will be long and hard. For the enemy is strong. He may hurl back our forces, but we shall return again and again. And we know that by thy grace and by the righteousness of our cause, our sons will triumph.
And that was one of two tweets from our good friend at G.I. Joe Ops. U.S., World War II, and D-Day veterans. God bless America.
God bless America. I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountain.
Half a world away, folks. Normandy Beach, D-Day, 1944. These gentlemen to go back, to return. A lot of these veterans have never been back there before. And they put together this big, giant get-together and flew them back over there. Going back to the beaches in Normandy, that has got to be probably one of the most painful, but yet resolving feelings that you could ever have. And a lot of them are saying that it really helped to find closure, and it's really helped a lot of them. God bless the greatest generation ever to live. And again, Donald Trump's going to be down there a little bit later on this afternoon. We'll bring you some of the highlights of that tomorrow. And we need to get excited because there's a lot of new candidates that are running. I'm absolutely thrilled about a lot of them. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the new Republican candidates that we need to vote for. America First, MAGA Agenda, and CAG. And for those of you who do KAG, Keep America Great. Donald Trump's agenda, folks. The media has claimed that Donald Trump hijacked the GOP. Yeah, he sure did. He did hijack the GOP, and we've now got an ability, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to not start a new party, but to overtake this party and completely transform it so that we do no longer support these rhino Republicans, Susan Collins individuals, Jeff Flake that's gone. But I'm just saying, we don't need these Paul Rhino Ryans anymore. We need to focus on the real America First agenda candidates. And here we go. We're starting out with our good friend, Dr. D. Hennon. At Dr. D. Hennon, this border disaster should have been stopped 11 million illegals ago. Go through a legal process or don't come. Hashtag Hennon for Ohio 2020, 13th Congressional District Republican. And he's tweeting out Lindsey Graham talking with Sean Hannity.
President Trump is right to do whatever is necessary to stop the disaster at the border. It's not a crisis, it is a complete disaster. And Mexico can do better, they should do better, and I support the president in any way possible to get Mexico to do better. And I'm going to have a vote on my bill to close the asylum loophole and the unaccompanied minors in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Amen. And we know Donald Trump has been working on trying to get Mexico to do something about these illegal caravans traveling through Mexico. And so Donald Trump tweeted out at Real Donald Trump on Twitter, immigration discussions at the White House with representatives of Mexico have ended for the day. Progress is being made, but not nearly enough. Border arrests for May are at 133,000 because of Mexico and the Democrats in Congress refusing to budge on immigration reform. And we talked about that yesterday, and I was listening to the show last night, and I didn't make it clear enough that the tariffs that Donald Trump is imposing on Mexico are extra tariffs. I did talk about it in a previous show, but the 5% tariffs and subsequently on up to 25% month by month if Mexico doesn't do something and do it fast. Talks with Mexico will resume tomorrow with the understanding that if no agreement is reached, tariffs at 5% level will begin Monday morning with monthly increases as per schedule. The higher the tariffs go, the higher the number of companies that will move back to the U.S. And this is our good friend at Little News Network, R.C. Taylor, tweeting out a GIF saying, "Hold the line," from the movie 300. And I thank you to our friend at Dean BC1, Dean C. Breaking, John James Jr. at John James MI, now running for U.S. Senate in 2020 from Michigan. So I jumped over to at John James MI. Down in the show notes below, folks, you can get all these links and follow these individuals. He tweets out, "We are heading in the wrong direction as a country, and our leaders in Washington are failing to lead us toward a better and brighter future. I believe I can help lead Michigan towards that future we deserve, and that's why I'm running for U.S. Senate." Donate right here, link below. Thank you so much, John James. And we thank our great patriot at Arm & Klein. Great people of Virginia, a new loyal GOP candidate, Tina Freitas, is running against Rhino Emmett Hanger. And this is at Team Tina for VA. All the links are down there for her Facebook and her Twitter page and her website. And this is her top tweet pinned to her profile.
Hello, everyone. This is Tina Freitas, and as you know, I'm running for the Republican nomination for the 24th Senate District. We've got 10 weeks left until Election Day, so we decided we would do a countdown. The top 10 reasons why Emmett Hanger needs to hang it up. With Tax Day coming up next week, we're going to get this kicked off with number 10, Emmett Hanger's vote for Mark Warner's $1.6 billion tax increase. An increase that conservative leaders across the Commonwealth fought against, but because of career politicians like Emmett Hanger, it passed anyway. When you pay your taxes this year, remember that this may have been the first time, but it's definitely not the last time that Emmett Hanger has reached into your pocket to grab as much as he could from Virginians with a massive tax increase. My name is Tina Freitas, and I ask for your vote on June 11th. Thank you.
Wow, what a great patriot. Absolutely love it. Lower taxes are better, of course. And another one that they tweeted out, great people of Maine, a new loyal GOP candidate, Derek Levensier, is running against Rhino Susan Collins. And you can see right here at Derek ME 2020. We got to help these guys get more followers, y'all. So jump over there and absolutely follow him. He's got Diamond and Silk that he just retweeted. So that's awesome. He tweeted out, with recent polls showing Collins at 41%, I had to share this. Senator Collins is sinking due to her failure to support real Donald Trump and America First policies. I stand with POTUS and policies that benefit America. MAGA, Trump 2020, Derek 4ME, Red Awakening 2020. Wow, he's got the picture that says this ship has sailed and failed to deliver. Collins 2020. Just want to give you folks an update at Patty Prom Queen. It's time to make calls to these who are not backing our president. The list below oppose his tariffs, plan to put pressure on Mexico to stop invasion at the border into our country, a plan to protect our country and citizens. That's beyond crisis level. Talked about it yesterday, but I was watching the show again, and I apologize, folks. I didn't name the names. Here's the names. We've got Representative Don Bacon, Representative Diaz Balart, Representative Dan Newhouse, Chris Smith, Fred Upton, Will Hurd, and Brian Fitzpatrick. And again, she retweeted out this number, call to make your voice of displeasure heard, 202-224-3121. Contact this number and tell them where you live, and they will tell you your senator and your representative so that you can call them. They'll put you in contact so you can make the call. And why Republican? Just gee whiz, just throwing this out there. I ran across this at Charlie Kirk 11. Did you know the 19th Amendment giving women the right to vote was introduced by a Republican? 1878. Democrats fought it for 40 years. Woodrow Wilson violently opposed it, and Republicans are still the party of women. Lowest female unemployment, record female business ownership. Why would we not vote for Donald Trump? These Democrats are crazy. Why would we not vote for Donald Trump with everything going on? Donald Trump has been an absolute godsend, voice of the voice of the voiceless, voice of the people for decades and decades. We never been heard. We always say vote for the lesser two evils. We vote for the politician and they do half the work, not even half, a fraction. Might do 1%, or they do what Paul Rhino Ryan does, or they're doing what Mittens Romney does, Jeff Flake, and we get fed up and we get upset. But we can't overthrow them because the GOP will continue to support them. Support the rhinos that are guaranteed lock, a guaranteed win. That all changes this 2019, this 2020. That all changes, folks. We are absolutely running candidates that are going to overthrow rhino Republicans, regardless of the help from the GOP. We've got to get out there and vote. And Fox News just posted up a story. I just saw this kind of pop up. Hell froze over. Jim Acosta and Joe Scarborough praised Donald Trump's D-Day speech in the UK. Wow. Woo, I guess Mark Taylor's prophecies have started to come true. I never thought I'd see that happen. Anyways, it was an incredible speech. If you hadn't heard it, folks, just jump down in the description and link below. Check out the full speech. Let's get into what's going on with the Democrats. This is at LV Nancy. This babbling idiot wants you to see our POTUS in prison. Yes, folks, over the evening, and Nancy Pelosi is reported to have said that she doesn't want to impeach the president, but she wants him in prison. I believe that there's something going on with Nancy that I'm not making fun of her. I truly think that she may have either had a stroke or something needs to be seen. She needs to get some kind of medical attention.
We went there next. And landed at Normandy. You climbed the walls, the hills, and all the rest, and you didn't get a chance to go home. That was 5 years ago when we went there. Our purpose is to be thanking the veterans, not to attend an event, but to thank the veterans. So, and they were just so fabulous and so courageous. So this was 5 years ago. So if they were 18, 19 at the time, they were around 20, they're around 89, 90 at the time.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking ahead to next week and votes that are anticipated for contempt, have you made decisions about any penalty mechanisms that you would like to see? And then more broadly, are you feeling...
But you get impeached and it's an indictment. Bye-bye, Birdie.
I'm not making fun of her. I'm just putting her on display. I think she's truly had a stroke. Like half the side of her face doesn't work anymore. She needs to seek some kind of medical attention if she's not already. This is truly very, very sad to see this going on. And at Cat the Hammer, Cat with a K, I think Nancy needs her meds adjusted. This by Breitbart.com. Lock him up. Nancy Pelosi tells Democrats she wants Trump in prison. And let's talk about Nancy's home state of California. This at Super Elite Texan. My God, when are people going to wake up? How can anyone see such things and not be brought to tears? This is a direct result of liberally governed cities using liberal policies that harm the human in the name of helping the person. Wake the hell up. Folks, I'm here to tell you, this is actually going on in California. You see people using the bathroom in public, shooting up needles in public, half clothed, laying on streets and laying on park benches. I live down near the beach, Long Beach, California, and it was like almost every single day we'd wake up, and this is all the way back in this is before 20. This was all the way back in 2006 when I first got married to my wife. 2006. Homeless people were living in our driveway, would use the bathroom, leave feces all over the place, toilet paper, just right there. And it's just unbelievable. Now it's worse. Fast forward to 14 years later, it's exponentially worse.
The Burke Gilman Trail. Out his window, he looks at this.
Oh, they're human beings. Yes, I'm a human being too.
Customers coming to his shop see the same thing.
I have known cops from Compton, Watts, South Central. They have some power in their hand. Here you see a bunch of twinkle toes running around here. What the heck? Because they run the city like that. They're having problems. They're not having enough authority.
There were fires set outside his shop this past summer, and Mr.
Nancy Pelosi, there you go. That's what she's doing. Her, Maxine Waters, Swalwell, all of them. Folks, these liberal policies have to be stopped and shut down. And as I promised you, Joe Biden, yeah, folks, there's something going on with Joe Biden. Let me explain. At Beach USA 45, This is just one of several CNN panels of late that openly laugh and mock Joe Biden.
And Jeff, eye-opening lead in a New York Times profile of Joe Biden's 1988 presidential campaign, the first time he ran for president. He lied to voters, according to the New York Times, quoting aides of Biden's, about having marched in the civil rights movement. This is Biden making this false claim in 1987.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement, and more than once, Mr. Biden assured them that he understood, kept telling the story anyway. That is really, really weird.
It is, and the story was a reminder that in that 88 race, he was one of the younger candidates in the race. He was 44 years old. He was the new generation, but, if you haven't read the book of What It Takes about the 1988 campaign, rich chapters of Joe Biden and others, but it does point out a problem, a challenge for Joe Biden. Has he fixed that issue? When he gets very comfortable out on the stump speaking and other things, he has tended to embellish. He has tended to, make things sound slightly rosier than they are. Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea of civil rights, but was not actually marching in the streets. But that would not fly as much that he was supporting civil rights. But I'm saying that in today's
that's not what the word marching means.
Twitter, okay.
I know, you're just telling what they said.
Right,
but
in the age of Twitter today, Instagram, there would be pictures of him not marching.
That's
so
right.
you cannot get away with that in this moment. So that's his big challenge.
Yeah.
Can he modernize himself, and has he sort of brushed away all those old tendencies he had that ultimately ended to him dropping out before the Iowa caucuses by, because...
And this is how I actually found the video. I don't know who tweeted this out to me, but at Sean King. Sean King is a white guy living as a vicariously black man. Yes, you heard me correctly. Sean King, black friends of mine, crack on this dude because we all know he's white, but he pretends to be black. And he now tweeted out this video and said, CNN panel host just break out in laughter over Joe Biden's lies, and he marched in the civil rights movement. And this tweeted out by our friend at Lori_B_777, just giving us a reminder. Joe Biden has been in the government for 49 years. Bernie Sanders has been in the government 48 years. Donald Trump has been in the government for 3 years. Who got more done? Vote with common sense. Vote 2020. There's no common sense. Absolutely. And again, why are they doing this to Joe Biden? I honestly think that the powers that be and the Democrat Party, they know that Joe Biden can't beat Trump. They know he can't, and they think that going with Bernie Sanders is a better bet. So they're breaking down on Joe Biden to ruin him in the polls because he's leading in order to help Bernie Sanders run. Bernie Sanders has been exposed. You lost the millennials. You lied to them. And you're not getting them back. At Jeep SUZIH2, deplorable Susie. Abraham Lincoln, the worst mistake I ever made was appointing Ruth Bader Ginsburg to the Supreme Court. And this had political humor, patriotpost.us. Check them out. I bring that up on purpose because I forgot to mention yesterday when we talked about the ruling, yesterday, 7-1 ruling by the Supreme Court. Ruth actually voted with the conservatives. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Now we've got to show you what's going on in Canada. This at Trump 4545. It's crazy how LGBTQ community embraces people who'd rather see them dead than alive. Reporter, what would happen to a gay couple in Gaza? Response? They'd be executed according to Islamic law. Islam doesn't approve being gay. And this gentleman being interviewed admits the truth in Canada and wants Sharia law and claims that Canada will be overtaken by Islam because they're having more babies than the Canadians are. Very dangerous stuff coming out of Canada. And our good friend at Julie Rinklin1, she does follow All MAGA Back. And if you want to stay posted on Laura Loomer News, she's the one to do it for you. Laura Loomer writes the article, Ilhan Omar blames NRA for Virginia Beach shooting while silent about Orlando Pulse anniversary. Laura Loomer official. None of that, but it's now come out the Virginia shooting was a black Democrat Muslim. How about that? Just putting it on display there. Thank you, Omar. This at Patty Prom Queen. Wake up, California, D50. Danger is knocking at your door. Your 2020 vote will stop this from happening and keep it at bay. This was replying to another tweet at Super Patriot 1. A Muslim terrorist will be running for 2020 election from the Democrats. Grandson of Munich massacre terrorist running for Congress. 2018, he was defeated by Republican Duncan Hunter. Government should ban Muslims from government offices. Do you agree? I do agree 100%. We've talked about that. This at LBC 360. Muslim Brotherhood linked leaders embrace Virginia school board candidate. Her endorsers hail from America's most prominent radical Islamist of the past generations, and she carries the torch of the next generation of Islamists. And at McGuire Scotty, wicked Democrats have removed "So Help Me God" from House committee oaths. Will they demand the Muslim call to prayer before every meeting? They'll serve ancient moon god before the purity of Almighty God. This at Pamela Geller. Fact, not fiction, folks. This is absolutely incredible what the Democrats are embracing. The Muslims have taken over the Democrat Party. It is all over for them. They've completely lost. And let's round this out real fast. Let me give you what's going on with Spygate. You're going to get excited because shoes are falling. Christopher Steele's coming to America. Before that, real quick, at Tom Fitton, corruption. These incredible documents show FBI leaders rushed to give Hillary Clinton her FBI interview report shortly before the election, and they show FBI failed to document interviews and the Clinton email matter, further confirming investigations was a joke. So you can watch the whole thing of Tom Fitton. He goes on for a little bit and gives a lot of great detail and information. What he's talking about, documents that have been uncovered, emails that he has now seen that not only fast track, you see the FBI engaging with each other saying, hey, can we get Hillary these documents that they're asking for within 2 days before the end of the week? When Tom Fitton has been asking for documents that he's never received in years. And we now see the documents being released, and it's just going to wreck them. Speaking about getting wrecked, this at AKA_real dirty. Phil Mudd on CNN says it's going to be a car wreck if Christopher Steele testifies.
This is significant. This will be a car wreck. Look, this isn't about the Mueller investigation per se. It's about the origins of the investigation and how the Department of Justice and Attorney General Barr has talked about this repeatedly, his suspicions about how the Department of Justice originated the investigation. Obviously, one of the documents was Christopher Steele, former intelligence operative, the information he uncovered about Donald Trump from Russian operatives. Let me give you how this game ends. Christopher Steele shows up in front of the Department of Justice, and I'm guessing doesn't have terrific answers for the quality of the information in that Steele dossier. I'm telling you, Wolf, this is not going to go well.
No, CNN, you're right. This does not end well for the Democrats, folks. We were talking about this earlier. Christopher Steele coming to America, and people are wondering, well, is he going to tell the truth? He's going to tell the truth. Yeah, he's got to tell the truth. Why? Why's he got to tell the truth, Brian? Because he's already testified in a London court. That information has already been given to Durham. And Christopher Steele is going to testify in front of Durham, not the FBI director, Christopher Wray, not the CIA director. He's going straight to Durham, and Durham knows what to do with this. Christopher Steele is going to spill the beans. Mark my words. All this stuff is all coming out. It's already been written about it. Documents have already been put out. We already know what the truth is. If they cut Christopher Steele a deal, I don't care. So be it. Cut him a deal and get all of these all wrapped up. James Comey's fallen first. And this great article by the Washington Times, spying on Carter Page. In the end, Special Counsel Robert Mueller's March report said that his 22-month investigation didn't find such conspiracy. He essentially cleared Carter Page on 4 surveillance warrants. He essentially cleared him, folks. It's all over and done with. October 26, 2016 to September 2017 was one of the FBI's most aggressive steps to try to prove that Trump associates conspired with the Kremlin to interfere. They also tried to say that Carter Page colluded with Paul Manafort. That never happened. That came to pass as the Mueller report exposed it all. Folks, all the inaccuracies of the FISA applications all come from three main sources: formal investigations by the congressional Republicans, secondly, the Mueller report, and thirdly, Mr. Steele in London. And they put the 6 times that the FBI absolutely lied to the FISA judges, and this is where it gets really, really bad for James Comey, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page. This is where it's going to get really bad, as well as Andrew McCabe, Bruce Orr, and the likes. FBI told the FISA judge that they fired Christopher Steele and he wasn't an active source. That's a lie, because now we know for a fact Bruce Orr and his wife Nellie Orr testified already that, they kept using him. The FBI told him to continue to use him and create a back channel. That's a fact. You lied to the FISA judge. Second time, they told the judge that Steele was not briefed on the motivations behind Fusion GPS's reasons for paying him to create the salacious PP dossier gate. False. We now know because he testified in a British court that he hated Donald Trump. And that was the reason for getting all this dirt. Thirdly, FBI judge, FISA judge, Steele was not connected to the Yahoo article, as the article said that Page was connected to Putin and that he would go ahead and take a finder's fee to let go of the Russian sanctions. First off, that come to play that was all false. Secondly, Christopher Steele testified, said, I gave off-the-record briefings to all kinds of media. Oh, whether it be Mother Jones or Yahoo, don't matter. He was spilling and leaking, and that was the reason why the FBI fired him. FBI knew the Democrats had funded the Christopher Steele dossier, paid for by Perkins Coie, paid for by the DNC and Hillary Clinton through Fusion GPS. The FBI knew that, and the FBI did not tell the FISA judges. There's lie number 4. Lie number 5, the FBI told the judge that Mr. Page coordinated with Russia to influence the election and Paul Manafort, and they all worked together in the Kremlin. Mueller report said, nope, no such conspiracy ever happened. And sixth, FBI told the FISA judge that Mr. Steele was credible as a paid human source. But then in the end, the report that was written about him, kind of like a report card that was written by him by the FBI as a human validation, minimally corroborated and medium confidence. No, man, come on, you knew he lied. And now Attorney General Bill Barr tapped John Durham and said these counterintelligence, and I quote, activities that were directed at the Trump campaign were not done in the normal course and not through the normal procedures as far as I can tell. He told that to CBS News. And folks, this is going to be one heck of a show. You got to get your popcorn together and get ready and be back here every single day, Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Your host, Brian Smith, over at SmythTV. Check it out. New Right Network's new series, SmythTV, giving you all the breaking news of the day, wrapping it all up, making sense of it, exposing the fake news, giving you the real news, empowering you with information so that you can become a very dangerous American here to help right this ship and get it in the right direction. Inform all these people out there what the real deal is and where to listen to. Check us out. Crush the share, crush the follow on the Facebooks, the YouTubes, and the Twitters. We're all over the place. iHeartRadio as well. Again, in the description below, you will find everything you need. And I want to thank the new Patreons that have jumped on board. I really, really appreciate it. Cannot do this show without you. This is my sole job. This is all I do, Monday through Friday, creating, producing, writing, and putting together the show. Usually takes me about 8 to 10 hours a day to make a 1-hour show, folks. So I absolutely appreciate and I thank you for supporting the show and moving forward. For Thursday Thoughts, that's a fast hour you're going to spend with anybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Freedom Friday.
You've been listening to New Right Network, mobilizing, countering, energizing. Online at newrightnetwork.com.